Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Atlas, and can I just say it is nice to be back to doing video uploads on this channel. We're really pushing for 4,000 watch hours on this channel, and all of you guys, I appreciate all your support and helping us get there. So now we can really get focused back on a lot of the stuff that's going on with the cryptocurrency space and showing you in the charts and being able to discuss this a little bit more. So today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, what's been going on with that, also what's been going on with Orchid and potential movements in the market space. If you guys are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to turn on the bell notification so you know more when we have stuff to go on here in the future. And if you guys can, please make sure you hit that thumbs up like button. Believe it or not, it actually does help out quite a bit the more of you guys that do that. So if we can on this video, let's try to get to 50 likes. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get right on into this. So first thing we're going to do is talk about some of the news that's been going on with Bitcoin. This is actually on Bitcoin's chart right here. We can see some price movement that's actually going on. I got this over here on the side. You see that there is a lot of people starting to push that up, $14,200 as of the time of me recording this video. So that's very nice indeed. But as far as the news go, there is some negative news, potentially. There's nearly $1 billion worth of Bitcoin that was linked to Silk Road that was on the black market. So if you guys don't know about Silk Road, it was essentially one of the first marketplaces, or potentially the first marketplace that was established, but a lot of illegal activity was going on there. I mean, people were buying drugs, all kinds of stuff. The guy that founded it, he's in prison for life now. And so there's a wallet that for years has just been laying dormant, and over $1 billion worth now of Bitcoin value that is inside of that wallet has now moved to another wallet address. Somebody has been able to access it and is now moving it around. Someone out there. Some speculate that maybe it's the founder for Silk Road, but let's be honest, that's probably not the case. He's in prison. How the heck is he going to be accessing this through prison? There has been talks before about the fact that the hackers online have been passing around the wallet address, but then there's been speculation if it's actually the real address or not, and people have been trying to crack it. So maybe somebody finally cracked it, or, you know, it's hard to say, but we can track the movement of this. We know that it was associated with Silk Road, and so whether or not it can actually go to an exchange or anybody's going to even want to touch it, because again, you can trace it, right? So if somebody else buys it over the counter, well, they're now buying money or Bitcoin, right, that was associated with illegal things. So just kind of keep an eye out for that. Another thing, this is actually good news, is that there's now $2.9 billion in Bitcoin options open interest that follows with this rally that's been moving up, right? This was posted 2 hours ago. Very bullish news. The amount of interest that's going in with this, especially lately, is going to continue to go up, because past $14,000, if we establish this as a good base now, well, guess what? The only time we've ever been above $14,000 was when we had to run all the way up to $20,000. That's a $6,000 profit if people got in at $14,000, right? Even if you just waited until it hit $20,000 again. If it does, which it is very likely to do, the odds of probability are much more in favor of it doing that than not doing it. It's a $6,000 gain, right? And for a lot of investors, they look at that as more than likely easy money. But is it going to go that way? We'll see. Anything is technically possible. We're looking at the trends and seeing what's going to happen with that. Other good news, the state of Wyoming has elected their first Bitcoin owner to the United States Senate. Woo! Let's go, baby. More people in this space. As quoted here, you can see, in typical Wyoming fashion, we're sending someone to DC who respects individual rights, and especially the right to keep the fruits of our labor. Cynthia believes in the philosophy behind Bitcoin, not just that it is a new asset class, long said. But there's a little bit more too. Senator-elect Loomis, I don't know how you say his name, has shown an interest in cryptocurrency issues, which is great to see. We are looking forward to working with her, said Agrawal. So a couple of different people looking to work with this person. And yeah, we have somebody now moving into the Senate space, Bitcoin owner. Really great news. As far as for what's going on with the presidency, right? You need 270 electoral votes in order to win. Joe Biden, as of the time of this video, is very close to it. Believe if he secures Nevada, then he's good unless there's some other further debate that's going on, even if Trump wins these other states. And so a lot of people, the reason why I'm bringing this up is, for one, it's obviously relevant to what's going on right now with the presidency and with the state of the economy. But also to the market space, a lot of people are kind of on edge, sitting back, waiting with their money to invest in things because they want to know who the new leader is going to be. Different leaders have kind of different political views and how they have their tax rates that they want to do. Like, for example, Joe Biden really wants to increase taxes on people that make more money. And so if people are investing a lot of money into cryptocurrencies and things, that might also play into what they decide to do because they know that this is part of his plan. So things like that, right? So as it is right now, Joe Biden is very close to winning. Just keep that in mind. As of the time of me recording this video, I don't know, maybe by the time you watch this video, it's already been selected and stuff, but I'm just saying that as of the time of this video. Now, let's go ahead and talk about what is going on with Bitcoin, and then I just have a little bit of some news to talk about with Orchid and the analysis with that. So Bitcoin is in a very bullish movement right now. And so there's some interesting things that narratively I kind of want to compare to the last time that it was on the big push to $20,000. But first off, when we look at this on the daily chart, you can see we're above the 21 EMA. That's that yellow line, which is a great bullish indicator. That's a really good sign for things. And also, we bounced off of this top line. So we've been forming this level of resistance as time has gone on, all the way back here, basically, essentially starting since May 7th. But it has pushed all the way back until we had this big excessive drop that took place in March, which caught a lot of people off guard, the whole COVID and stuff. It's that random variable that gets thrown into the table when you're trying to figure out how to adjust to it, right? So that caught a lot of people off guard. But we are above the 21 EMA, very bullish sign. Good movement. The RSI, relative strength indicator, is showing that we're overbought right now. So that is a little bit of a warning sign. However, when we're making these big bull run movements, the relative strength indicator is going to naturally change and it will start to flatline itself out as the bull run continues to form a more common standard pattern. If it continues to rise and rise and rise, that relative strength index is going to see that as an indicator and it will start to even itself out. The technical indicators, as far as TradingView goes, also shows an indication for buy. You can't see it, but it's technically right here. So it's not on the strong buy, it is on the buy though. And furthermore, if we did have a further continuation breakout on this, check this out right here. So you can see the little green line here. We go back and you can see these forms of movements. It's this channel that's forming right along this line. It's a pretty balanced channel. So hypothetically, if we did break out and move up to the top, this would put us just under the $20,000, and that would be an increase of 22.76%. Now, comparatively, if this was to just suddenly drop, I mean, it dropped hard and it broke below the level of support as it is right now, I mean, we would see it push all the way down here to a $7,750 level. That would be filling a lot of those gaps that are on the CME futures gaps. And that would actually be a 45.32% drop. Is 45% drop even possible with Bitcoin? Yes, it is. And it's happened multiple times. I mean, we've seen major drops like this. So is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? I would say no, but looking at the technical analysis, right, we're in a channel, so you got to kind of monitor how things are moving progressively. We're going to see movements push up. We're also going to have some retracements back, but you shouldn't be surprised to see a 45% retracement. It's not the end of Bitcoin because it's happened multiple times and then it's recovered and continued to push up even higher. The big concern is if we end up forming a new lower low. Right now we keep forming a new higher low. We want to make sure that it doesn't form a new lower low. Then things start to get more concerning about what kind of future direction that we're seeing with Bitcoin. So that's something that I think people should keep in mind. Another cool thing to kind of look back on is if you go all the way back to when it hit $20,000, when it broke above the 21 EMA, it took 32 days for it to actually hit its peak of $20,000. 32 days, a little bit over a month, okay? So with where we're at right now, if you were to try and do the same thing, you can see that a 32-day, the smaller amount right here, would put us at November 8th. So in 4 days from now, if it was to do the same thing as it did back in 2017, in 4 days from the time of this video, Bitcoin could, in theory, be at $20,000 again, having broken above that 21 EMA. Now, as far as for when it was at $14,000 back in 2017, this is even more nuts. This is the extreme, because if we go all the way back over here, here's Bitcoin at 11,735. There it is, pushing up to about 14,500. Retrace back down to around 14,128. Very close to where we're at right now, except we're technically higher. And we got less than an hour left to go for the daily close. So if this closes, that's going to close actually higher than where this previous day was. Now we're seeing a little bit of a drop. So this is a very close resemblance on this daily. And it was the next day that it shot all the way up to just under $20,000, had a little bit of a retracement, kind of came back up, and then essentially from December 6th all the way to December 17th. So technically 11 days. So we could see anything from 1 day to 11 days from the $14,000 price point, which is where we're above right now, of it being established as a daily close, to hitting $20,000. And historically, if you look back, a lot of the other cryptocurrencies, when Bitcoin made its major move, they went up too. So you want to keep an eye on those altcoins and see how things are going to progress. So is the likelihood of it going down? RSI wise, it suggests yes, but that's kind of a weak indicator as an overall spectrum based on the fact that we are having a major bull run rally, which is expected with a lot of the other analysis, such as the Bitcoin stock to flow model. Now, if we go take a look over at Orchid, one of the things I want to take a look at with Orchid, and I do talk about this coin a lot, I'm invested in it personally. It's an altcoin of interest. If you guys want to do more research, I have previous videos on my channel. You can check that out too. But there's a community of people that have subscribed to me that do like this currency as well, and they're curious to see how things are kind of progressively moving. So I have had personal levels of interest, as I've expressed in the past. By the way, I'm not a financial advisor. Just saying that, in a little insert, you hear that in a lot of people's videos. So I'm not a financial advisor, but I've shown a lot of personal interest in saying that I believe it's going to start having a rally up. However, I said with the technical analysis, and I've been totally transparent, I'm like, looking at the charts, these suggest that it's going to go down more. Here we go. We have another formation here. It has to get above this level for it to actually be bullish. Until it breaks above this level, then I have to say that the chart suggests that it's going to go down. So only if this happens, then I become more bullish, right? And that's part of the problem, is that it hasn't been committing to those standards. It gets close and then it changes direction, and so it has a further continuation down. And looking at this here, one of the things that I went ahead and highlighted, you're going to see on this chart here with these purple lines, is when these major releases of extra Orchid has produced. By the way, if you guys, again, if you're enjoying this video and you have not yet done so, please don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bell notification, and also hit that like button. We're trying to get to 50 likes. I know it's not a lot compared to a lot of these other people, but hey, we're trying to grow, and I hope you guys like the content. So looking at some of these major movements here, we've got like back on, for example, one I labeled was September 16th. We got October 1st, October 18th, and November 2nd. I think that was actually supposed to be on November 1st. Yeah, that's supposed to be on November 1st. So I can just move that over real quick. Let's go ahead and move that over real quick. Bam, just like that. And just taking a look at these, you want to kind of see in the purple line where movements have occurred. The reason why I'm showing this is when there's been more released of the Orchid. As of November 1st, 404 million Orchid has been released so far. There's a total supply of 1 billion. So we're not quite there at the halfway mark yet, but a lot has actually been released. And these are very big numbers. We're going to see more taking place within December, especially on December 9th. I mean, on December 9th, it's going to be a big boom onto the marketplace. It's curious to see how things kind of move with that. But you might assume, well, if more is going into circulation, that it's going to force the price to go down, right? And here's just verifying that it's at 1 billion total supply. This circulating supply is wrong, but it's CoinMarketCap. They don't get everything right as it is. We were looking at the official Orchid website that said this 404 million variable. So just keep that in mind. So looking at this, you can see on the purple line here, there was a bit of a decline that took place after that release. And then there was a massive push up, massive volume here. Lots of people buying it, but then it retraced a whole bunch and then a further continuation sell-off. But we're also seeing a lot of resemblances between this and what was going on with Bitcoin at the time too in the marketplace. And then the same thing here on purple, you can see a further continuation decline down. Nothing like a super massive dump immediately after. There were some attempts at some recoveries and then progressively just continuously moving down. And then eventually it broke out of this consolidated space, this little rectangle right here. And you can see again another release, a little bit of a climb up, then a further decline down. Started having a couple good days. We had 5 days here of recovery pushing up, but then 5 days of pull back down. And so it's just been continuously forming overall since this big $1 move that shot up, having this further continuation down. Since this big shot up, or since the whole thing actually was starting, it's now on more exchanges. So yes, there's now more in circulation, but there's also more places in which you can acquire it. They're still working on developments of things. We have to look forward to the whole Windows update that should show some good positive signs of more potential market value of usage, and then also whatever ends up happening with this marketplace thing. I'm sure when they announce the whole idea with the nano payments and that it's an official thing and staking being more legitimized with everything with it, those are going to exponentially increase. I mean, I can't wait to see more people actually going into the whole staking mechanics with this, because now you're taking things off of circulating supply, right? That's going to be a very key. Those two key factors I'm actually way more excited for than the Windows update. VPN, great idea, cool, unique space. It's filling a lot of a niche, but there hasn't been that huge push demand across the spectrum of people saying like, hey, everyone needs a VPN. Everyone should do a VPN. Do the VPN right now. Like, it's really important. You know, you kind of hear that narrative on the back scale. It's not being pushed to the forefront of everything. So those purple lines, as you can see, somewhat interesting, but nothing super crazy, right? And so we look comparatively here. I created a Fibonacci retracement level, and on this Fibonacci retracement level, if I just kind of pull back here, been filling in this space primarily taking place back since September 21st. It does technically pull back even further. We could see a nice continuation all the way to August 16th when a lot of this had taken place with this major run, and then the retracement starting to come back down. And then similarly, within that consolidated space, we got a pretty good baseline being formed all the way across here. So with this descending wedge pattern, this is actually a bullish indicator, and so there's good signs of potential recovery. And if we did take the actual level from here, the low to the high, and then we pull that across over to this level, and we have a breakout, an exponential breakout could lead us all the way back to the 0.786 on the Fibonacci retracement level. That would be quite a big boom. And as you see typically with Orchid, if that does happen, don't be surprised if it has a major pullback, because this is something that we commonly see with Orchid, is a major push up, big pullback. And unfortunately, it's shown push up, pull back, further continuation down, unless you just compare it to this big previous moment right here, back here in this range with August 14th, right? So realistically, we had a consolidated space that took place between the 0.236 and almost to the 0.5, and we have not returned back above the level of 0.236. Something else to make note is that we keep trying to establish ourselves above this 21 EMA, and we just can't do it. It taps it and pulls away. It's almost like whoever's doing these major whale orders, they're looking to see when it gets really close, and then once it taps it, then they pull the trigger and they pull off. So some other whales, if they decide to come in and kind of throw those people out of the loop, this whole back and forth that they're doing, at some point it's going to start falling flat on its face, and they're just going to buy and they're going to hold on. And we want the hodlers, the more people that are holding, taking it off the circulating supply, that could raise the value of the price, right? So I really need this to go above the 21 EMA and establish itself above this descending 21 EMA that's been occurring for me to really be bullish. But until then, unfortunately, it still looks like it has that continuation down. The descending wedge pattern, great, but it needs to actually commit to a certain standard. It needs to break above that level of resistance, which, as we see right now, we pull down on the chart here, it needs to get above 20.205. It can break above that, then another key level is going to be that 21 EMA, above 22 cents. Can it break above 22 cents going towards 23 cents? Can it establish itself and close out a daily on that for 2 or 3 days at least? And then I'll feel way, way more bullish on this. You can see the amount of volume has still had this rapid decline over the whole spectrum since its high. It's been very flatlined with this, but we had a lot of flatlining before and then eventually had this big exponential spike. The relative strength index, the RSI, is also on the verge of being oversold. It's on the verge of being oversold, guys, which means that there's lots of room for it to move back to the median spot for the RSI. Is it going to do this? I've only been hearing of good news as far as the industry space. The closest thing that I heard of negative news recently was South Korea talking about how they're going to be removing privacy coins. And I was thinking, oh, VPN, virtual privacy network, right? So Orchid, is that going to be a problem? But it wasn't listed on those. They were talking more about things like Monero, where it's like when you trade it, you cannot track who is sending it to who. Those kind of privacy things. We're talking about with Orchid, you can see who's buying and who's selling it, and you can track all that information, right? But actually, I believe you can. It's an ERC20 token, right? So you should be able to track it through the Ethereum network. Double check for me. If someone knows, let me know for sure down below. But as far as I know, there's no issues with that. Again, they listed multiple currencies on that site, and I didn't see Orchid as in being included on there. And I know that it's on South Korean exchanges, and it's technically on the top 100 list for Coinbase too. So I don't see there being any issue with that. It's more about the fact that you can use the internet and have the privacy with that. So yeah, those are the key things to kind of be keeping an eye out, guys. Make sure that it doesn't go below the 19.55 cent level. That's a big key level of support overall that we want to keep an eye on. And then the next level, if it was to drop even further down of like major concern, I would say is 16 cents and 55, because we just look at it from a historical point. So I already made this video pretty long again. I ended up taking a break from doing these videos on this channel because I was working on the other stuff with the live stream stuff. But yeah, I'm getting back into video uploads, guys. And surprise, surprise, my first video ends up being really long again. I'm trying to make these videos a little bit shorter. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Again, please don't forget to subscribe. If you did enjoy this, turn on the bell notification, hit the like button. Let's try to get it to 50 likes. If we could do even more than 50 likes, oh my God, I'd be so happy. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. Drop a comment if you have any thoughts or opinions of your own. You're more than welcome and entitled to voice your opinion here. And I encourage people to go do that and to look down below. Let's see how this election moves forward with everything else. Look at what things happen for tomorrow, the new news, how the trends are progressing, if it's following it. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.